Welcome friends, James Corbett here with your Fukushima update for the 26th of October 2011. This coming to you at 4:45 p.m. Japanese Standard Time, and there's a lot of update dates for today, so let's get straight into the latest from FukushimaUpdate.com. First, we have new study on xenon-133 and cesium-137 releases from Fukushima. This is via the Atmospheric Chemistry and Physics Journal, and it links to a scientific study that shows that, lo and behold, the J-gov and TEPCO have not been fully forthcoming about the amount of radioactive xenon and cesium that's been released from Fukushima so far. This gives an abstract. It also links to the discussion paper, supplement, and interactive discussion. So all of that is there for you. And as new user Monkey99 notes in the comments, E&E News has an article referencing this study with a lively and informative comment section. And of course, the E&E News comment sections tend to have hundreds of comments, so definitely worth participating in those comment debates. And hey, why not? Sign up for a Fukushima update. Log in and you can comment on our stories as well for free. Fallout Forensics Hike Radiation Toll. Now this comes from Nature magazine, and it's basically covering that exact article that we were just looking at in the Atmospheric Chemistry and Physics Journal, talking about the radioactive xenon and cesium that's been released, and how basically it's a sign that the J-gov and TEPCO have not been forthcoming about the total amount of radiation that's being released. And Scientific American also has its own take on this. Fukushima nuclear plant released far more radiation than government said. So those two sources are contained in that single post. I suggest that you go and read them to understand the significance of that study if you're not so scientifically inclined. Of course, we have the Fukushima update video from yesterday that was posted since the time of the recording of that video. And next we have Fukushima update for day 230. Today's highlighted article is from XSKF. It's a must-read from the Asahi Shimbun, and it's actually in so far 9 and 10 installments, and I think there may be more coming. It's a series that's running in the Asahi Shimbun called Trap of Prometheus, and XSKF is translating important parts of this article into English, so I highly recommend that you go and read through all of these. I haven't read through the entire series myself yet, but it is riveting stuff, and in today's installment, they're talking about how the Japanese people living in the area came to learn that they were living in a highly radiated area, and it was a good idea to get out of there because they were not being told the truth. Once again, that seems to be a common theme about a lot of this, doesn't it? So again, I really suggest you go and read through that entire article. More headlines from SKF. Yesterday we were talking about TEPCO releasing those accident operation manuals to the government. Well, those, and I said that I couldn't find the actual documents themselves. Well, now they are available, and you can get them on xskf.com here, blogspot.com. Here they are. You can open it up and take a look and actually read through them for yourself. But those are the actual documents. Armenian Public Radio. The Metsamor nuke plant can withstand a magnitude 10 earthquake, and this is talking about what's been classed the most dangerous nuke plant in the world in Armenia, which doesn't even have a primary containment facility, and recently experienced a magnitude 3 earthquake, which made a lot of people quite worried. But no, along comes public radio to say, don't worry, they can withstand a magnitude 10. Nothing to worry about, move along. Elevated radiation level in the center of Tokyo and Ginza. A link to that Nature article about the new study. TEPCO's compensation for bamboo shoot farmer in Ibaraki Prefecture, 333 yen. So for the Americans out there, that's about $4. Latest headline from FukushimaDiary.com, easy to understand radiation map. And actually, let's click through to this because it is, I suppose, easy to understand. I'm not sure how useful this map is, but nevertheless, here it is. And as you can see, well, obviously the main radiation here is in the northeast. This is being measured in megabecquerels per square kilometer. And it's talking about cesium-134 and 137. So here's the readings, and you'll notice that where I am here in Okayama, it's actually the lowest in all of Honshu, except for Hiroshima and Yamaguchi. And the lowest in all of Japan is in Kumamoto. So that's very interesting. So maybe I should be eating raw horse meat. That's a little inside joke for the people in Japan who know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so that's an easy to understand radiation map from Fukushima Diary. Over 10 microsieverts per hour measured at two schools in Apikoshi. More than half of the students in Minami Soma exposed to cesium-137. New testing of elementary and junior high school students in Minami Soma in Fukushima. 2.5 microsieverts per hour from concrete. And I believe that's in Yokohama. And residents are complaining about that. I wonder why. A report, Fukushima reactors number 5 and 6 now in crisis, from enenews.com. We covered that yesterday from Fukushima Diary. Doctors find uranium and zirconium in Tokyo residents' fingernails, also from Fukushima Diary yesterday. Community leader near Fukushima advocates eliminating nuclear power. Local says unlisted Fukushima workers held captive until they die, then marked as missing. And police officers also dying. I really suggest you take a look at this. It has the actual video here in Japanese, if you understand Japanese, but it has a little summary where it's talking about this local citizen who runs a motorcycle shop and is talking inside politics about what's going on there. This is absolutely incredible stuff, and if it is true, it is the most important information I think that we could possibly have from Fukushima. If one official could come out and confirm what is being said as a whistleblower and actually document what is being said in this interview, it would change the course of human history forever. I don't think it would be an understatement to say that. It is an absolute game changer if this is the type of things that they're doing. And if someone is just making this up for fun, that's the most irresponsible thing that could possibly be done. So it's a very important story that needs to be followed up on, but I'm not holding my breath for mainstream media to do that. Top scientists, high radioactivity leaked from spent fuel pool number 4. New estimate says Fukushima released far more radiation than Japan claims. Almost 60 microsieverts per hour detected in vehicle at Kawasaki port. Van emitting 110 microsieverts per hour ended up 370 miles from Fukushima in Kobe, which is not too far from me. Radioactive concrete being sold at home store, again from Fukushima Diary. Latest headlines from Informable. The status of TEPCO's facilities and its services as of 3 p.m. October 25th. Again, always useful information from Informable. Half of students in Miami found with radioactive cesium-137, as we saw earlier. TEPCO denies wind power sale to pay Fukushima claims. More of that soap opera unfolding. China's nuclear target may be cut due to public concerns over safety. Wow, a government actually thinking of responding to its citizens. Amazing. Radiation research suggested as way to keep livestock near Fukushima alive. So yeah, now it'll just be researching it in the same way the Japanese are researching whale meat, right, by putting it in students' lunches. Fuel loaded into 4th reactor at Kinshan nuclear power plant in China. Photos of the China's lifting of dome at Taishan nuclear power plant. TEPCO never properly prepared for disaster, and again that links to those documents that were released today or yesterday. Quake hits Japan's Fukushima prefecture, 70 miles from Fukushima Daiichi. That was a 5.2, as we'll see later. Latest headlines from the Japanese media. NHK has a ton of stories today. Municipalities divided over nuke plants restart, and that links over to this video.
Japanese cities, towns, and villages hosting nuclear power plants are divided over whether to restart reactors that are currently offline. The division came clear as a meeting of the host municipalities. Mayors and officials from 15 communities attended Tuesday's meeting. The main topic was whether idle reactors should resume operating. 44 of Japan's 54 reactors are now offline for regular checks or other reasons. Following the Fukushima nuclear accident, utilities are required to conduct safety stress tests on suspended reactors before they can be restarted. But data errors were found in the safety tests, and there are no prospects that the reactors can be restarted soon. Some municipalities are calling for a restart, but others remain cautious.
I'd like to call on the utilities and the central government to go ahead with the resumption after safety is confirmed.
As long as the cause of the Fukushima accident has not been confirmed, there's no way the reactors can be resumed. We don't trust the government's nuclear policies and regulatory system. We can't feel safe unless the mistrust is resolved.
The participants failed to reach a conclusion on the issue. The chairman of the Association of Host Municipalities, Kazuharu Kawase, said they will hold discussions again after the central government clarifies its policy on the future of nuclear power.
There you go. Wow, they don't trust the government's claims of safety. Imagine that. Well, all right, moving right along. Yokosuka conducts a nuclear accident drill, nuclear fuel recycling costs, and it's talking about how it's more expensive to recycle the fuel than simply to treat it as waste. Ibaraki population posts sharp drop. That's interesting. Apparently 10,000 people have moved out of Ibaraki just south of Fukushima Prefecture in the last several months. Obviously due to the tsunami and nuclear incident. And interestingly enough, 40% of that, 30%, 3,000 people of that total are foreigners. So I imagine that represents, probably the majority, if not the totality of the foreign population in Ibaraki. So they're getting the F out of Dodge. A nuclear accident could raise power costs by 1 yen. Again, NHK. From Daily Yomiuri, accidents add to expensive end power again. No, we haven't covered that yet. Miyagi communities on verge of extinction. That's more related to the tsunami, but again, communities in the Miyagi prefecture getting not evacuated, but people are just leaving. Tests show all 143 reactors in EU are safe. Well, hey, great. They did some stress tests, and now we can all rest assured in the EU, right? Hiroshima University Red Cross to cooperate in radiation disaster fields. 5.2 quake hits Japan's Fukushima Prefecture. Biggest U.S. nuclear bomb dismantled in Texas. Again from Mainichi Daily. Well, that's an interesting story. Maybe a bit off topic, but very interesting nonetheless. The biggest nuclear bomb was just dismantled. TEPCO manuals point to critical safety lapses from Japan Times, again about those released manuals, and power station sitting on active faults. Again, we covered that yesterday. There's an Aomori power station that's on a fault. Oh, great. Latest headlines from around the web. Wall Street Journal, U.S. regulator defends Fukushima Daiichi policy. So basically they're talking about the evacuation policy and saying, well, it's only a statistical risk. It's okay. Quake hits Japan's Fukushima Prefecture, USA Today. Tokyo Electric may announce Q2 results November 14th from Reuters. Radioactive secondhand cars dog Japan, again from the Australian. El Barade sees growth in nuclear power. That's an AFP story. Yeah, there's another Nobel laureate for you. Fukushima Plate warns if food is safe to eat from NMA News Direct. That's those ridiculous Taiwanese videos.
The plate has a built-in radiation detector to let you know whether the food you are about to eat is safe or not. The third red ring lights to indicate that the level of radioactivity has exceeded the safe limit set by the user.
Well, that sounds handy, doesn't it? All right. Anyway. Okay, blood money. Fukushima victims bitter over compensation. And this comes from Japan Focus. It's an editorial, and it's by David McNeil, who's talking about some of the people who are involved in this and who have received this compensation money, and basically talking about the pittance that they're receiving in return for the complete destruction of their lives. A very affecting and very moving story. It's from Japan Focus, so you can click here. You'll just notice there's no continue reading button here to read the rest of the article, but I'll put that in by the time you watch this video. And finally today we have Professor Anthony J. Hall on the Fukushima nuclear debacle. This comes from YouTube user Globalization1492, aka Joshua Blakeney, and in fact he'll be a guest on my new Republic Broadcasting radio program, which is starting next week. So I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, you can watch this Anthony J. Hall video. It's 22 minutes long, an interview about the history of Japanese nuclear power and talking about Hiroshima to Fukushima. And it's quite a wide-ranging conversation by the professor of globalization studies at the University of Lethbridge in my home and native Alberta, Canada. So there you go. Those are the updates for today. As always, I appreciate your support and all of the links and tips that I'm getting from people through the contact form. That's gratefully appreciated as well.